Welcome back to the Awesome Physio YouTube channel. Today we are continuing with our headache series, and we're going to be looking at trigeminal autonomic cephalalgias, in particular cluster headaches. So what are cluster headaches? So cluster headaches can be one of the most severe form of headaches that we might see in clinic, or people might present to a headache specialist with. It can be absolutely debilitating. So it's classified typically as a one-sided, incredibly severe headache, normally manifesting around the orbital area, so around the eye, and can just stop people in their tracks, meaning that they're not able to function day to day. So the exact cause of cluster headaches is relatively unknown. There has been hundreds, if not thousands, of studies into the cause of cluster headaches, as it can be so incredibly debilitating. They're predicting possibly it being linked to a part of your brain called the hypothalamus, and they've also found a strong genetic link that anyone else in the family that have it might predispose a pattern of cluster headaches. So what are the symptoms of cluster headaches? What's the criteria when we're looking at a cluster headache? So it's incredibly severe, coming on without any pre-warning, typically over one side, over the eye. What you get with it is something called autonomic signs. So what that means is you get changes around typically that side of the face, so ipsilateral on the same side as the headache. What you find is you can get sweating around the face, we can get either drooping of the eyelid, changes in the pupil, we can get changes with our lacrimal duct, so the tears. We can also get, just general redness around here, so we get huge changes around that side of the face, contributing with that headache. So you tend to see that first. You can also get nasal congestion or rhinitis up into here as well, linking with the headache. So someone will typically experience bouts of cluster headaches. So they have times when they're there and times when they're not, when they're in remission. Between 10 to 15% of individuals might suffer with chronic cluster headaches, but what typically happens lasting in the active phase between weeks to months, where you're getting repetitive headaches coming on, could be as more or about 8 a day, can be really severe. And what happens with that is someone can feel quite agitated, restless. Obviously these headaches are so intense, they might feel like they want to kind of smack their head up against a wall. It can be incredibly debilitating. So you'll have a period where you'll have loads of bouts of these headaches, and then suddenly you'll go into that remission phase, which is why it can be so incredibly debilitating if you're suffering or experiencing cluster headaches. So what are the best treatments or managements for cluster headaches? So although they're not life-threatening, they can massively impact your quality of life. So the management of this can be quite complex, and it's dependent on every individual. The best first step is to visit a headache specialist or a GP and have your symptoms checked and have it scanned to make sure and rule out any other conditions that might be triggering similar headaches or mimicking those cluster headaches. The second thing with regards to treatment is they typically look at different types of medication, sometimes looking at impacting the nerves around this area that might be impacting your symptoms, or any other type of therapy. So although we're not going into this today, because again, like I said, incredibly complex with each person, one of the key take-home messages that I wanted to cover with this video is, if you are struggling, go and seek help, which I'm sure you're doing already based on the severity, but it's worth speaking to a specialist, finding the best treatment for you, and helping to manage those cluster headaches.